advice from your YouTube channel over the last few months. Thank you so much for the kind words, Jason. I'm glad watching pro games is helping you improve. It really is the best thing to do when it comes to, uh-oh. StarCraft? There we go. It really is the best thing to do when it comes to wanting to improve at StarCraft II. Besides playing the game a lot, which is what I will recommend, I think, personally for me anyway, the most enjoyable way to improve at the game wasn't necessarily, it wasn't necessarily just, like, looking up guides and stuff. Because, it really wasn't about looking up guides and stuff and just seeing, like, oh, I want to learn how to play better and things like that. Which some people do, which each to their own. But the way that was most enjoyable for me was just to watch a lot of StarCraft II because I enjoyed it. And watching StarCraft II is awesome. And then you just naturally pick up on things. Like, you see a pro gamer do a little trick with their hotkeys or whatever, and you're like, oh man, how did he do that? Or you see a cool build or a cool strategy. Like, whenever I think of a build to do, it's usually because I've seen a pro do it. I won't look up a guide or anything, I'll just try and emulate it and refine it from there. Anyway, enough of that. In the top left-hand side of this map, it's Hurricane. I've really been liking his stuff. He's 3-0'd Classic, and now he's 3-2'd Impact, and now he's in the finals. And taken on RagnaroK in the bottom right-hand side of the map for Team Shivo. I actually have not lost to a Cannon Rush since your pull 4 workers per thing and building advice. I'm so glad that's helped you. I don't know who I originally got that advice from, but I read it somewhere and I've stuck to it. It was probably a caster that said it, that I heard it. And, yeah, it really is the best advice. Yeah, as, like, you just kill the cannons. And, I mean, at, like, a super high level, they do things which they plan for that. Leifen's God says, give me Maru versus Cyril show match. I want it so bad. We didn't get it at BlizzCon. That's because Maru just disappointed, as per usual. When did Maru get knocked out? Who did he lose to? He lost to some Zerg. To Dark, right? 3-0. I didn't even watch it. I would, if someone wants to give me $10,000, I will do a Maru versus Cyril show match. Because I think the only way that it's going to happen at this point, if it's an offline event. Also, laughing at your comment, AlphaStar taught me to just to expand when getting cannon rushed. Well said, Copenhagen DOS. So, there was this proxy oracle. Hurricane likes building his Stargate in the bottom left. It's a curious thing. Just Hurricane things. Nothing's died this game, so even though I've been just reading chat, I haven't missed a lot. Yeah, no, I was actually thinking about doing the logistics. Yeah, I think people just like watching the AI. Personally, it don't do much for me. But, I mean, people enjoy it. This is actually some nice nice micro there from Hurricane. An Adept and an Oracle against 4 drones. Probably worth it. Yeah, I don't know why so many people watch AlphaStar casts either. I really enjoy commentating them at sometimes, but I've never been one to really do, like, the super popular things, in a sense. Like, I've never enjoyed doing, like, Bronze League heroes or things like that, because I don't think I can bring myself to do, like, the artificial hype that I think some people do. Like, at some point, you can only watch someone be shit at StarCraft and, like, really try and hype it up and make it exciting. I commend the casters that do it. Is this Void Ray gonna get out, by the way? Oh, it's gonna be close. 3 seconds, 3, 2, no, it doesn't. The dream is dead. Oh, that's actually a bummer, because I know that Void Ray is a big part of Hurricane's build. Yeah, it really is interesting. I don't mind that people watch AlphaStar, Exactly. LaughNgamez will get 20 likes on a Maru match and 500 likes on an AlphaStar versus Unknown Master Player. Yeah, it's really, really bizarre. Maybe I need to title my videos or get different thumbnails or something. But it is really bizarre. It makes me sad too, casting AlphaStar, because I know it gets me subs and likes and things, but I know when I'm done casting AlphaStar forever, those people probably won't stick around on my channel. And so it's like, well, do I do that or do I just stick to what I enjoy? For now, I'm doing the AlphaStar because it's awesome having that, like, 10K views a video. It's awesome making, I don't know, like, a bit of money per video from it anyway. But I know my analytics have shot up, but they're just gonna go down. Yeah, but I'm still surprised that so many people are checking out daily AlphaStar videos. Like, it's kind of crazy. Anyway, talking about this game, there's actually gonna be a Nidus going on up, and it's just Mass Ling Queen. Now, these oracles are going to get right on top of this, so that is a failed Nidus right there. Another is going to get queued up, but an Immortal pops out. Does Hurricane pay attention? So many Protoss never noticed the second Nidus. Okay, 2 Immortals are going to wreck that. There's another one in the main base. Is it going to get responded to? One of the Immortals, 2 of the Immortals are running. They're going after it. Another one is getting called on, and this time there's Banelings. The Oracles are not on it. This Nidus is going to get off. You can sure bet there's going to be another one after that. A ton of shield batteries are up, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to stop these Banelings. Queens are popping out. Banelings are popping out. A Nidus in the main base. This one's not being dealt with. Hurricane is just trying to put out the fires as RagnaroK is lighting them. More of this aggressive play from the Zerg. Force fields are getting tossed down. They're actually beautiful force fields from the Zerg, or from the Protoss, perfectly siphoning off the Zerg. These probes are going to want to get out of there. There is a good Protoss army, though, standing strong. The Niduses really haven't got off. There is a Nidus at that natural base. These Immortals haven't shut this one down. The third is being defended. The natural base has a lot of Lings rallying out to it, but it looks like it will be defended. Queens are popping out. The Immortals haven't shut it down. I think Hurricane just needs to fight everything that he can at the minute. The Zerg really just has to whack-a-mole right now. Hurricane just needs to consolidate enough. He just needs to be able to shut down these Nidus, and I think he's going to have held this. He's playing out of his mind today. Overlord coming on in towards that third base, potentially to call in another Nidus. For now that the Zealot's taken on the Queens, most of the transfuse energy has been spent. The predictable, another Nidus at the natural. I think Hurricane's just going to shut this down. And once this is shut down, I don't think the Zerg can macro out of this. Like, something has to give, right? Like, the Zerg has to get damage done or else he's going to lose this game. These probes, though, they retreat to the shield batteries. Tons of shield batteries to keep them alive. And the Protoss player has just built up enough of an army. Unless he's really pulled out of position, he is not going to lose to this. He's even getting Blink now, which is going to help him get more favorable trades by being able to ensure he picks off more Zerg units every single game. Zealot finds that Nidus there. That's going to get shut down. The Protoss army is pretty strong. The thing that I really have to respect about RagnaroK today, though, is that he has just been not going for, like, panic all-ins. He's like, oh, I helped the Zerg all in. I need to go kill them. No, he simply throws up a fourth base. He's building a Colossus, and he just says, fine, I'll keep defending the aggression. Now, RagnaroK is swapping up the aggression, so he's going to be trying to attack into Hurricane. And, this could actually get something done with the Baneling drop. Now, these are not upgraded Banelings, so they're not going to one-shot the pros, but that's actually it. Wow, RagnaroK does just tap out. Hurricane did have that game, and GG, well played, as Hurricane takes the 1-0 lead. He is on fire today. What a great game. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. And I know I've been kind of just rambling on about like different things throughout the cast today, but the one true element through it all is that Hurricane has been playing some fantastic StarCraft II. I mean, his opponents have been playing good too, but he really is shining today. And I definitely think he can win this cup. Really, really great games. I'm enjoying them immensely. All right, we're gonna get into the next game. All right, here we are. This best of 5 is continuing on. In the top left-hand side of the map, it's BraveStar Gaming's Hurricane. And in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's Chivo's RagnaroK. I really, really am impressed by Hurricane today. I can't overstate it. Just the way that he's been playing this matchup confidently. I know the Zergs have been playing good too, but honestly, let's be real. It's just the same old aggressive stuff coming out of the Zergs. Whereas Hurricane, he's playing PvZ. This is on the old patch. I'm not shying away from that fact. This is Hurricane showing that it's really well done. And imagine when the Nidus is nerfed. He might even do worse when the Nidus is nerfed, because he seems to have a pretty good grasp on the defending, and the Zergs might go and do less of the attacking that he'll not be able to capitalize on. Le Master de Adrenaline, or something even more French. Patch Protoss? Maybe for PvT, if you saw the Home Story Cup Protoss versus Terran win rates. Like 60, 70%. Pretty good. Yeah, I'm really sad Fantasy went to go play League. But I was surprised he played StarCraft II again in the first place. Or to go coach League. So, I'm sad, but in a sense I'm kind of grateful we had him when we did. Yeah, he officially retired. And like all pro gamers, he stopped checking messages on Skype when he retired. Like, they just... When Koreans commit to something, they commit. Ling's chasing us probe away. By the way, thank you for the follow, Thunderjunk. Press that follow button if you're enjoying this commentary, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is, the reason why there's such a discrepancy, it was just a single tournament, that's true. I think the reason there's such a discrepancy in the Protoss win rate is it really does depend on the style. Like, in my opinion, the way that Trap plays PvP, it's perfect, pretty much. Like, he's really, really good. As long as they don't make, like, panic and be like, oh my god, I'm gonna go for a cheesy attack or whatever. I think if Protoss plays defensive, maybe goes for some, like, Warp Prism harassment and stuff, and then defends versus, say, a Terran's, like, 2-base all-in that's probably coming, you're gonna do fine. Because the Terran will 2-base all-in, or then you're in an even macro situation if they don't. Then you're in a pretty good spot as Protoss, because then you can go for that, like, Warp Prism harassment and stuff. Ganoi shows up and drops in 100 bits. Thank you so much, sir. You guys sharing the love this stream. My one and a blue moon stream. Dark is not that young, Copenhagen Das, isn't he like 20 or something? Or 21, 22? Oracle comes on in, gets himself 2 drones. Yeah. pretty decent. Dark was born in 95, so he's older than me, so I don't consider him young. Two Oracles and a Phoenix coming on in. This is some of the more common harassment, and RagnaroK losing a few drones to it. 5 drones for an Oracle. Alright, trade for the Protoss. Third base on the way too, with probes being chrono boosted out. So we take a look here, and we're actually seeing Hurricane ahead in workers momentarily versus the Zerg, which is a kind of scary thing. The 2 Adepts now going to shade into the natural, or into the third base, pardon me. They're going to nab themselves up a few more drones, adding into that kill count. Gets 8, 9 drones. RagnaroK taking a lot of a beating, and Hurricane is just macroing up. Hurricane also building Phoenix here. Very wise choice, considering the fact that there is a Spire on the way. Yeah, I think this, we're seeing a lot of really, really good young players like Clement Raynor, Skillis, mainly, I think, are probably the 3 big, really good young players. There's also Aquaron, who's up and coming. But the scary thing is, like, 4 years of playing the game, you can get a lot better. Or 3 years of playing the game, and then there's Cyril's age. And they're already really close to Cyril, or pretty close to Cyril's skill. So how good are they going to be? Goblin, he's a good one. It really does depend on their willingness to play. Like, I think we will have more sad occasions in StarCraft II. Like, in which we're gonna have, like, pro players just, or young players, like, say, for example, Goblin. He doesn't seem to play that much. He's a young kid. It's tough to get a young kid to commit to anything and do anything. That takes a lot of skill or whatever. By the way, it really is all about Hurricane defending this game. We're seeing more aggression coming out of the Zerg. Ling's heading towards the third. Beautiful Zealot wall. Look at that warping. Now these Zealots going to start engaging the Lings. The rest of the army comes on in. They could force field off that Nidus. Don't quite catch a lot of the units. Corrosive Bile actually hits a fair few of them, though. Good enough defense so far, though, from Hurricane. I think young, when it comes to being a pro gamer, is like 16, 17. I think if you're not already at like semi-pro level by the time you're like 19, 20, you probably shouldn't bother trying to be a pro gamer. And so that's why anything younger than that is considered, I guess, young. Phoenix coming on in, gonna lift up some drones. Nice harassment. That Spire was built, but it wasn't used. Niduses just keep getting shut down. The Overlord's getting killed off. These Phoenix. They're gonna spot this Nidus. Gonna pick off the Overlord. I really do love that Hurricane made these, He's gonna blink in a sec, so he'll be able to get on top of these army. These Phoenix can just lift up the Swarm Host if they pop out. They don't, though. Another Nidus gets queued on up, but look at this. Hurricane, he spots this. He's so good at his defending. In comes the wave of Locusts, the first one that seems to have got off. The Protoss army is here. Stalkers, Disruptors, Cannons, and Shield Batteries are going to deal with this, I think. Even a Stasis Ward, so maybe one Shield Battery dies. No, it doesn't. Another Nidus getting called on in. Meanwhile, Stalkers skirmishing on the front. Don't want to lose those. That would be a big loss. Hurricane has built up a pretty big army. He's looking to push into his opponent before the lurkers are done. He's also throwing up a lot of tech. Hurricane does have a rather volatile army for the time being, but his Disruptor gets off a pretty okay hit. His Colossus are adding out a lot of damage. His Stalkers, though, are the main portion of his army, so he does want to take a fight sooner rather than later. He's going to try and avoid these Locusts now as he's retreating. His charge finishes up, so that's now an option for reinforcements. He's got the Phoenix. They can potentially lift the lurkers. Oracle reveals the lurkers, so he is going to lift them up, and he's going to push on in. And with the lurkers out of the equation, with the Swarm Host on cooldown, there's actually not that much of a Zerg army left here. The lurkers, not all of them have been revealed. All but one has been revealed, so that's getting off damage. These other ones haven't been picked off. An Observer is in the mix, though, but the Protoss still being forced back. The fact that those lurkers in the back weren't picked off, I think, is a pretty big blunder from the Protoss, but he's still able to push on in. More lurkers are out, though, so he's got to be careful. 13 drones died to this, but the Zerg player's staying alive for now. Those lurkers, such an anchor point. If RagnaroK or if Hurricane knew about this base to the north, I think he'd just bounce up to that and probably kill it off. We're seeing a 4 Locust attack come on in. I think the cannon may be able to deal with this. Yes, they are. Adaptive Talons on the way. The Zerg player survived at a pretty healthy drone count, so the big attack for Hurricane didn't work out. He's going to try and transition. Mothership on the way. Protoss ground weapons on the way. +3 attack on the way for the Protoss, so the army going to be very scary. Oh, Phoenix are getting picked off, but they're not too important at this point. 5th base under fire. However, Zealots and Colossus do defend that. Meanwhile, there's a Prism going to be looking for some harassment. Dropped off some Zealots at the 3rd. They're now going to unload in the main base. Keeping the pressure on the Zerg. We got ourselves a 5-base Zerg taking on a 5-base Protoss. The Protoss up on workers. I am really loving the play here today, coming out of Hurricane. See you guys in chat having a conversation about being a pro gamer. Saying you're from China. It's probably more realistic. See, the funny thing is, it's actually more realistic to be a pro gamer in poorer countries than it is in, like, a rich country. Colossus getting out a lot of damage done onto those lurkers. The +2 attack adding a lot of damage here. There's High Templar in the mix. They don't have Storm yet, but they will soon. There's the Mothership. There are carriers. It looks like the Zerg player's just going to fold here. He's going for an attack, but I don't know how he plans on breaking this Protoss army. He's diving on top, but the Psy Storm going to melt the Zerg. The Protoss force is thinning out a bit, but there's simply just, like, I don't think he's going to have enough to kill the carriers. There's Phoenix in the mix, and GG Hurricane takes the 2-0 lead. Wow, Hurricane just ripping through this tournament and playing really well. Yeah, see, the thing about trying to be a pro gamer is that it takes such a commitment in life. It takes such a commitment. Like, you have to pretty much put your life on hold. I mean, I could have arguably been a pro gamer because I took like a few gap years that I didn't really do a lot. Besides maybe just work a little bit and stuff, but if I tried to be a pro gamer, I'd have to practice for years. You have to practice for years. That's part of the thing. So unless you naturally like sitting down and playing StarCraft a lot, and I mean a lot, you won't ever get there. Like, it's just, if you're someone who doesn't play like at a very high level in the first place, making the leap to pro gamer is just ludicrous. And so it's just, so hard. And then on top of that, then you have to try and hit the high level. And even if you make it into like the top 32, you're making probably as much money as someone who works a minimum wage job in a richer country. That's why it will never be feasible. Well, that's why there's hardly any North American pros, right? Because it's just not worth it to postpone university. In European countries, I think it's a little bit more forgiving, I guess, just that way of life or something. So there's a lot more EU pros. And then, of course, I guess countries with a smaller cost of living or smaller household income, it's a lot more realistic. Because, like, the simple fact of the matter is, making, like, $25,000 a year as a pro gamer in StarCraft II, it's pretty tough to do. It's pretty tough to do. Making $8,000 as a pro gamer, where that's the average income in your country for yearly, it's a lot more doable. And you're kind of both playing in the same level, right? So you have to put in as much work. So it's just not worth it. Anyway, introducing these players. Hurricane, who's currently up 2-0 in the top left-hand side of the map. I'm loving the way this guy's playing today. And in the bottom right-hand side of the map, playing for Team Shivo. It's the Blue Zerg RagnaroK. Really, really enjoying how Hurricane's been playing. Cool to see that there's 81 of you still watching this. Salary has to be taken in consideration, but yeah. I don't think StarCraft II salary is much at all, though. Like, it's just not... Like, I mean, guys like Cyril are definitely getting the salary. Raynor and other players definitely, too. But as far as, like, say... I don't know why my go-to example is, like, sort of. The amount that guy must be making... And it's such an odd spot, right? Like, someone like sort of, for example. He's top of the ladder, or high up on the ladder. He plays a ton. But if we look at his earnings, it's probably like nothing over the past... Or nothing compared to... Nothing high. And he's so high up in the skill level, for example. But then the return is just so small. There's a lot of other players out there like that. I mean, of course, there's other factors. Like, it's, of course, not all about the money. You love playing the game. You love the competition. Yeah, generally not feasible for independent earners. Yeah, you still love your parents. Or you still live with your parents. Where's production? There's production. Oracle comes on in, gonna attack this spore crawler that's building. We'll get... Oh, no, he has to restart it. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's way more viable. It's, like, that's why I'm so surprised. Or I guess that's why we have guys like Cyril. Only because he got so good when he was young. I guess he was... Maybe that Finnish guy who likes spending a lot of time in his room playing video games, and he just happened to play StarCraft II. But say for example he was like 19, 20 when he really started good. It's probably like, oh, you really want to you know, move on in life or whatever. But the fact that he got so good and started having success when he was young, it's like, yeah, you can keep that going. What is that?
It's great to see some smaller scale tournaments
donation.
and up-and-coming casters like you in the community. Makes me look positively into 2020. Smiley face.
$5 from Protoss Zocker. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, that's why I'm grateful for every StarCraft II player we have. Very, very grateful. Ling's trying to get on in. So far, I'm really enjoying RagnaroK's play because he seems to be doing nothing wrong here. Like, the amount of times this series that I've just looked at RagnaroK and I'm like, oh. The amount of times I've seen RagnaroK. Or Hurricane, pardon me, make a big mistake that I'm like, oh no, that's a huge mistake. It's not a lot. He's also going Phoenix this game, by the way. So we'll see what they're able to get done. Yeah, in Europe, I think there's more I'm willing to bet most pro gamers in Europe still live with their folks. Because it is a more socially common thing, whereas in NA, it's like, you move out when you're pretty young. Or most people do. Or you gotta be, I don't know, working or going to university or something. It's really tough to justify playing video games all the time. Unless, for example, you're someone like Neeb, probably. Who had success when he was young. Neeb started getting really good when he was in high school. This is just the classic Zerg not ready for Phoenix, by the way. So this is looking really good for a Hurricane. Yeah, if you're not ready for being, like if you're not a pro gamer in some countries by the time before you leave high school, you're not going to be a pro gamer. It's a simple fact. Most good NA players are also streamers. Forge on the way, Twilight Council on the way. So the Phoenix have done a fair bit of work already here for Hurricane. We look at the supply, a Protoss up supply at this point. Double Immortal production follow-up. So this looks like a pretty classic build from Hurricane. And RagnaroK could potentially go for an attack here, but there's already a decent amount of Phoenix. The Double Immortal production beginning. Unless an attack comes in hard and strong pretty darn soon, I think Hurricane's going to be in a great spot this game. Centrifugal hooks on the way, so Banelings. But I'm kind of concerned here for RagnaroK. Like, he's going into high drilling Bane, but he's not going to hit a nice attack timing, I don't think. Oh, he could catch these Phoenix. Might just recall. Hurricane's just like, fine, I'll go over here and kill some drones. And kill 5 drones he does. Yeah, I'm concerned. He's not going to hit a timing attack. The Protoss is heading up to 4 bases. And there's Psystorm on the way? 60 seconds, Psystorm is out. Five Immortals already out. I mean, the Banelings are going to begin getting added on. This attack could potentially hit on in. +1 gonna finish up for the Protoss army though, so those Immortals gonna add more of a punch. Stasis Ward's going up, cannons, shield batteries getting added on. It's gonna be tough, it's gonna be dicey to hold on, but some of the Lings already being taken out with the Stasis Ward. Force fields have gone down. Stasis Ward knocks out some of the Banelings. Good army control from Hurricane. He has lost a lot of the buffer for the Immortals, and his 4th base is under fire, but honestly, he could be fine just leaving that. He's got the Phoenix in a fight though. He's gonna have Psystorm in a second. And even if he loses this army, he's going to be in a fine spot. Look at this Hurricane counterattacking as this is going on. He's going to right-click on that hatchery. The Zerg is looking to push on in, but there's Psystorm. There's going to be more storms going on down. The Immortals put out so much damage. The 4th of RagnaroK goes down. A 4th for a 4th is not a good trade for a Zerg at this stage of the game. The Zealot's even trading out still. Supply for the Protoss. Definitely higher. The Zerg player on 3 bases, minimal production. He went for the attack and it really failed. I mean, there's still more Psystorm out for Hurricane. He's making Archons. He's built up a huge Immortal count, 9 Immortals. I'd like to see him start his +2 attack. For now, though, he is just focusing on this hold, but there's not that many Banelings. The Phoenix can even come in and lift up the Hydras, and it looks like we're going to be having ourselves a 3-0 final sweep, I want to say. I mean, the Zerg player's coming in with a lot of Banelings, the Templar morph into Archons, and everything gets absorbed there as Hurricane cruises through.